Hello, Chosen. Welcome back to my channel. The purpose of this video is to bring clarity to those members of the elect who may be drawn to tarot and the meanings behind the imagery and energy, especially as they relate to your own personal spiritual awakening. I offer only one perspective, and tarot is open to as many interpretations as there are personal interactions. So I thank you for your time and attention in considering mine. I also encourage you to check out my introductory video to this series, which I will link in the description box below, as it may help explain why and how you find yourself sharing your company with me. Either way, I'm grateful for you, and I'll keep this as brief as possible. So let's begin. Here, I'll be talking about the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess, numbered 0, 1, and 2. A young person stands on the edge of a cliff, ready to take a step off and into the unknown. He's dressed well and carries a small bag of his possessions with him, as well as a flower in his other hand. He has his dog at his side and his head slightly tilted back, looking up and out. Notice, too, the dip in the earth underneath his left foot and how it seems ready to give way, as if divine forces conspire to ensure he makes the leap. His posture gives off the impression that he's lighthearted and making the leap voluntarily, as someone who may not have deep connections that would keep him tethered, maybe inexperienced or sheltered from the world at large and the world he'll soon inhabit. His facial expression seems more serious than his body language would suggest. This is someone who seems determined to know what's out there, what deeper meaning life may hold. This is a person who's asked to know what their purpose is in life. What position am I meant to hold in the world? Even though he seems comfortable in his present circumstance, it speaks to that certain disquiet or even dissatisfaction that we hold inside, that which pushes us to take the leap towards something new and different, something more solid and meaningful. On the surface, this is an energy of beginnings and initiative, taking the first steps of a journey without a plan and only a vague but meaningful outline of purpose. It's also an energy of decisiveness, of turning idea into action. Lastly, it's an energy of faith, action taken with blind trust that this is right, rather than any sort of proof. As it relates to those on a spiritual journey, you either stepped or were pushed off of a high cliff, so the rules of physics apply, which means that you're going to fall and eventually land. What follows then is death, a spiritual death, an ego death. At the end, your ego will weep, but your soul will shine. This is the price of your passage, the coin paid to the boatman. It will see you travel through the shadow realms of your own mind and make it to the other side completely unrecognizable to anyone but your higher self and your spirit guides, those who lifted you in their arms and held you aloft towards your resurrection. It is the undertaking of an unbelievable journey to unshakable self-belief. Now, in these aforementioned realms, you'll reach the outer limits of your own reality. You'll encounter mythic strangers and energies that will ask and expect you to humble yourself enough to learn from and work with them, remaining in close company until they deem you worthy enough to move on to the next teacher and the next lesson. These are the 22 energies of the Major Arcana, 22 guides and 22 lessons. It's a daunting task for anyone, which is why it's given to those who naturally remain undaunted. Make no mistake that you are not a mistake, most carefully chosen by the Most High to not be like most. You are a vaunted member of the elect, divinely engineered to withstand any pressure in the pursuit of this ultimate goal of awakening and ascension. The magician stands with his arms reaching in opposite directions. In his right hand is a wand that he holds towards heaven, It is a tool of his trade, but also a symbol of his power and link to divinity. The index finger of his left hand points down to the earth beneath him. The positioning of his body here means everything. It is the power in your hands to call forth blessings from heaven, the ability to bridge the gap between the divine realms and the world you inhabit, the world that lies beneath your feet. It is a clear representation of the axiom, as above, so below, and because of that, makes the magician a master at manifestation. It's not just mind over matter, but mind is matter. What I think, I create. What I believe becomes the truth. Around his waist is a Ouroboros, a snake eating its tail, and above him is an infinity symbol. While both are traditionally used to convey eternity, they also symbolize a closed circuit. What you are tapping into is divinely given and willed, and because energy is neither created nor destroyed, what existed before you and outside of you is what is being accessed. The world you currently inhabit is experiencing it for the first time in the perfectly individual way that you can express it. On the table before him lie the symbols of the 4 suits of the Minor Arcana: cups, swords, wands, and pentacles, which are our emotions, thoughts, actions, and reality. In establishing an unbreakable mind-body connection, the magician first learns to master themselves. In understanding how you operate and flow, you align yourself to receive what you'll be creating in the environment around you. You must establish a common denominator between yourself and the world before you are able to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the parts of the whole. This is basic mathematics, and as a scientist that the magician also is, he understands these rules very well. It's also an analogy for this journey of awakening as a whole. You are being prepared for what lies ahead, for the position you intuitively knew you would someday hold. The magician is a bridge builder, the one who helps you establish a link between who you are and what you'll become, and what the world is and what you specifically can will it to be. Once an individual is fully fleshed out and the world understood in its entirety, this energy then becomes that of the potter, teaching you to mold what lies at your fingertips. The 4 suits also symbolize the cardinal directions and the 4 elements found in nature. This association with the physical world means that you can now make manifest in this dimension what has been understood in others. In other realms, you are a learner, observer, and witness. But down here, an executor, visionary, and leader. The magician has mastered the lessons and energies in the lesser arcana and is now able to bend them to his will. This makes the magician the ultimate alchemist. It is that singular ability to manipulate the elements that exist in the world around you, but also within you, into something greater, more elevated and evolved. That also makes this an energy of personal enrichment, using what you have to create what you want. As an alchemist, everything you touch turns to gold, and you can build or destroy worlds with a simple concentration contained in one of your thoughts. Such power lies in that single fingertip pointed towards earth. Never forget, though, this is a gift bestowed by the divine, which is evidenced by the dove carved into the table. As such, there must be an acknowledgement of that responsibility to push the collective consciousness forward by being able to think thoughts that have never been thought before, and therefore create things that have never been seen before. You are Prometheus, gifting the secret of fire to mortals, but instead of being punished for it, you are exalted. Before we begin with the High Priestess, the abundance of symbolism in this image presents the perfect opportunity to mention the architects behind the version of tarot that I use in this series, the Rider-Waite-Smith. I speak of Arthur Waite, the scholar and mystic who co-created this set and provided us with a systematic study of each energy. I speak also of Pamela Coleman, the artist behind the imagery who brought to life in such vivid detail the meanings he wanted to convey. While she was commissioned by Mr. Waite, Miss Smith holds equal sway in the execution of one of the most important bodies of spiritual and artistic works to grace this world. We spoke earlier about the role of the magician, and this pair is a prime example of the magician's touch and scope. They are the left and right hands, having brought this gift down from heaven to earth. She is what is seen, and he what is heard, together what is felt and understood. There are other decks, older ones, and I would never be so trite as to say one is better than the other. What I will say, however, is that the influence of their particular contributions cannot be denied, and those of us who interact with this set stand on their shoulders as we reach for point and purpose. Now, the High Priestess sits before a tapestry of pomegranates, which symbolize fertility, and palm fronds, which symbolize victory and peace. She is flanked on both sides by two pillars, one white and one black, that are inscribed with the letters J and B, or Yakin and Boaz. These are the pillars that were present at the entry to the Temple of Solomon. That she sits between them legitimizes her role as keeper of the temple. Arthur Waite explains that she holds the Torah in her hand, making her the supreme authority on divine law. She is the embodiment of the energy and matter being alchemized by the magician. She is heaven and earth. The High Priestess is also a gatekeeper to that which lies beyond even her. There are primordial forces that exist, and then there's what came before, if anything did at all, and what that is, if it is beyond our ken. It's what we as humans find incomprehensible, unexplainable, unknowable. It's a construct that, when at your greatest as a soul, or as an energy able to tap into God consciousness, quake at. That is God in its immensity. The High Priestess is also the warning that Daedalus gave Icarus. Let her presence serve as a caution, for there are many more things than even the sun that can burn you. The crescent at her feet and the crown headdress that she wears is her as the sacred feminine energy that is inherent in the moon and in all things that count themselves as divine in origin. This makes her God in one of its aspects. If you'll also please notice what is illustrated behind her, you'll see calm waters in the night sky. Though serene, still waters run deep, and what is hinted at here are unfathomable depths and a night that stretches on infinitely to allow the moon its best advantage. She is naturally remote. She'll never be moved from her throne. She neither has to nor wants to. You travel to reach her. She has no need to reach for you. This is where you learn respect for the divine feminine, through her boundaries and the pleasure of identity and wholeness that comes through her acceptance. Hers is the realm of the unconscious, and by tapping into your subconscious, you begin to make the shift between the two. You may find that this is best achieved at night, because night belongs to the individual, to solitude or solitary contemplation. It is in the soft focus of moonlight that illumination comes. The priestess is the culmination of all knowledge that exists beyond that which is already known, and so is hidden divine knowledge. You arrive at the boundaries of her temple in search of that knowledge, and that is parceled out on a need-to-know basis. Some truths can only be hinted at and never explicitly stated. This makes her mistress of intuition, set to help you master your own. She allows for its development and your ability to recognize secret truths that lie below the surface of her waters. There is, however, knowledge that is never to be revealed, that will remain beyond your reach. This makes her mystery. It also makes her limitless, because so much of her is unknowable. What she represents for you is the expansion of your limits. She is available to teach and guide, but does so in a way that sees you expected to do the work. It's your responsibility to make the mental and spiritual leaps and bounds that open the way to the full use of your gifts and talents. The High Priestess does not offer, but will instead grant to the worthy access and the opportunity to understand. Her answers will beg more questions, and you will beg. You will thirst for more knowledge, and it is only in her waters that you'll find satisfaction. If the information you find in this video is helpful or interesting, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd like to know how many I can count as members of my tribe, and you can help me reach as many people as possible that could benefit from the message. We'll speak again soon, so bye for now.